Managing demand for place-based services isn't a silver bullet. It's just one of many things Adept members can do to ameliorate some of the pressure on them for service delivery.
Of latent potential.
We held a number of workshops nationally around wanting to deliver really good services for those customers in a way that was responsive to need.
The environment is changing and we know we have to change with that, and we'd much rather be aware of what was happening and working to an effective solution to that.
If you create the space in terms of going out and doing things a very different way, it really opens up the possibilities for people.
There is a huge amount of capacity and capability in communities to deliver better outcomes for themselves. We've been working in an area of Basildon called Craylands. It is one of our more deprived communities. There's been a regeneration plan for a number of years that hasn't entirely delivered, and turning this completely round, going in and having the community lead the discussion was very transformational.
Where this piece of work is really interesting is it's starting to look at perhaps what the outcomes that our end user might want and having a dialogue around that. So that's a completely different level of consultation and these new skills.
Our pilot's looking at how you create a local transport plan differently to try and manage down demand. You have to get the people in the county to agree with what you're doing. So it's about bringing them along. That's quite different to the way previous plans have worked.
We know from our experience that having a long-term programme, a long-term plan is of huge benefit. We are able to place work in that programme at the time that's likely to be most effective, to deliver savings to the council, to help them address their budget challenges.
In 2017, Hull becomes the UK City of Culture, and ahead of that we've got a public realm improvement scheme. What we wanted to do with the pilot was to try and cut down the amount of time that will be spent by our staff who will be dealing with queries from the business community and indeed from the public, and we're now beginning to develop a consensus of the type of information that they need and how they'd like it communicated to them.
I think that the Devon project is particularly inspirational. It's coming up with some really exciting ideas. You know, for us working there as part of South West Highways, it's great to be part of that. And the idea of community wardens, for example, where we have trained them, is really fantastic. And it's really a model that can be used to show other authorities how it's done.
Our project, working with Adept, was very much around looking to communities to see how they might help, firstly kind of co-commission services, trying to move them into a space where they're actually co-delivering as well. It's trying to bring our processes into more community type spaces so that communities feel they can engage with them.
The pilot project has actually been removal of the major gyrator in South London, building on recent successes we've actually had on projects that we've done with the local community. The outcome we're looking for is a stronger, resilient community group so that they can actually do these things for themselves later on without coming to the council to actually say, can you do this for us?
What's been quite refreshing is to see people from quite traditional technical backgrounds being more transparent and reflecting more around the way they do the works.
It was a really open forum, lots of opportunities for ideas, and it's having that joined up perspective that will improve services in the long term.
Ringway people who were here today, who hadn't necessarily been directly involved in any of the individual pilots, really engaged in terms of offering a business perspective.
Rather than thinking just about the resources that our councils have, to think much more broadly around the resources that the whole community has.
This sort of work will definitely allow communities to meet some of their own challenges, not only having better outcomes but managing down demand for council delivered services.
I think that's the biggest thing that we've done, is open the door to possibilities that weren't there before. And I think for people who are really under the cosh, which people are in local government, that has been an enormous breath of fresh air.